Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Priscilla here with another edition of Moz and the Scratic, the month-long scrap busting ephemera making challenge. Almost forgot what it was called for a second. Today, the prompt for day 10 is messages, and we're 10 days in. 10 days, which means that there's only 21 more to go. How are you guys feeling? Temperature check? You guys loving this? Because I'm loving this. I'm having a great time. I am still hype. And if I am still hype, that means that we are having a good time. So yeah. Welcome back. So here's what I'm doing, because you guys might be like, what the heck is this? I'm using my scraps. I'm using my scraps to make more scraps. Honestly, I'm using my scraps to make little bits of metal. So I'm using these little strips, these little 1-inch strips that I always find at the end of a project that irritate me because it's just big enough to be like, oh, I shouldn't throw this away. But it's just small enough to be like, the fuck are you going to do with this? And so, like, outside of being like, okay, like, I guess I could, like, weave these all together. I could, if they were, like, a scrapbook paper with fun patterns. And, like, I still could, given that they're weavable. Like, there's nothing stopping me from weaving these together. The only thing that's stopping me is that I don't want to. The other thing that's stopping me is that, I don't want to. But also, there's nothing on them. So, like, weaving them together would be just like, here's my little strips of white paper that are now a big strip of woven white paper, which I could, of course, go back and ink and color and do all the things. Yeah, I could do that. But I don't want to. Which will be the mantra of the day. I don't want to. And as I say, it's been also pointed out to me that I say this because I forget. I am the boss of me, so I'm not doing things I don't want to. And so essentially, like, you're always in a sort of a hard spot because, yeah, I could make labels, I could make tickets, maybe, I could make a lot of small fussy things with these, which I'm going to do, I promise you. But I don't want to. So how do I use these up in a way that, like, is satisfactory, where I don't feel like I'm wasting them or spending a lot of time doing fiddly things that I then just have to store? Because that's the other, like, downside, right? Is if you make a bunch of small things to go with them, you have to then store them. And I am currently in the middle of, like, upheaving my entire craft space. So the less storage options I have to consider right now while I work on the bigger storage options, the better. So what am I going to do with these? I'm going to turn them into little strips of metal, of colored metal. That's what we're doing here. So I have applied some foil tape to the back of some white paper strips, or the front of it doesn't matter what side of the white strips because they're the same color on both sides. And then I am smoothing it out, adding in some lines with, like, my bone folder, because that will create, like, a texture when you smush it in there like that, and then going back and adding some more, like, scratches and distressing just a little bit with some sandpaper, which I do not recommend doing directly onto your glass craft mat. I have learned the hard way, learned from my mistakes. But it adds a little bit more texture and also gives a little places for, like, the alcohol ink to sort of settle in and pool a little bit. So do with that what you will. And so, yeah, I'm just having a play with my alcohol inks. Some of this stuff I want to have, like, a more textured effect. Some stuff I just gonna have, like, a smooth effect. And I was playing with the colors. I started out thinking I was just gonna have, like, single colors, but then I was like, oh, but you could mix these up. And that's what I end up doing, is going around and having a good just regular play with these alcohol inks. I'm still using these Barely Art blendable alcohol inks. I still like them. It's not this project, it's a future project, where they don't react in the same way that I expected them to, or the way that, like, the Ranger alcohol inks have trained me to do. So I have to, like, work around that, and we'll wait until that video comes up. It's gonna be soon. In fact, it might even be tomorrow's video, now that I'm thinking about it. To go over that, but, like, otherwise, outside of that one moment where I was like, huh? This is not what you do. They're fine. I like them just fine. So that's my honest review. I'm probably going to pick up some more colors. I like the bottles. I like the packaging. I'm a sucker for good packaging. And they're very good packaging. There's no wasted space. So yeah. I love it. They work really well. And I like this. This is the wood collection. So it's like all the different colors of wood. But those are also the colors of metal. So it works out really nicely to me. And we're gonna play around. I have some little alcohol in a spray bottle so I can get these fun like mottled effects, and that's essentially all I'm doing. This is the longest. I probably could have sped up this part of the video, to be honest, more than I already did, because I'm just having a regular play here, and it's not even the focal point of what we're doing. Well, I guess it is the focal point. It is part of the focal point. It does become a big part of the whole, but this is a great way to use up your scraps, especially these strippy scraps, where you might be like, I don't know what to do with all these little tiny pieces of paper that aren't big enough to turn into like pockets and stuff like that. And maybe you don't want to make 1,000 paper clips. You don't have to. You could do this instead, especially if you have alcohol inks and a little bit of aluminum tape. You can make all sorts of faux metal grungy things. Also, you could use these as bases for labels and stuff like that. You have a nice little metal, like a faux metal background to go with your labels and stuff, so you could back those on there. That would be cool too. In fact, watching this, I kind of wish I had done that as well. I have a couple pieces left, but I chopped it all up. You're going to see, I'm going to chop these up. Because I was feeling very artsy, I guess, when I was making this. I don't know what my brain was thinking. I'm going to alter an index card. That's in the title, for sure. And for whatever reason, I was like, yeah, messages, like post. I got those post stamps because I wanted more postal stamps. So I'll use those. We'll make a postcard. We'll do the things, you know. And then I was like, yeah, but what if it's like a postcard, but art? And not just like the regular art that I normally make here, but like art, the fancy kind. So that's the direction that this whole train went, where I was like, how can I make this like fancy high-end art on little like coffee dyed bits of index card that's been poorly stamped? And like, how do I make it fashion? You know what I mean? And that's what we're doing. That was my takeaway for messages. I don't know why. Because I literally started out being like, oh, you can make a postcard. You have a postcard stamp that literally says postcard. And that'll cover all your bases. And I was like, great, that's a message. You send a message via the post. And then, yeah, it just sort of became like a whole project unto itself. Also, if you have a guillotine chopper like me, like, don't cut the tiniest little piece in there. That's crazy. I could have cut my finger off. I also have a smaller guillotine that I could have used, but didn't. So, yeah. And now that I'm looking at these, I don't think these are coffee dyed at all. I think they're rose dyed. Yes, because see that little splotchy smudge there? That's tannin left over from rose petals. So yeah, this is rose water, probably with a little bit of coffee in it, because I'm not going to lie, I love coffee smells. So I throw it into everything I'm dyeing. It's either that or like a little bit of vanilla, just so it smells like a little bit of vanilla. That's what I do to make myself happy when I am coffee dyeing things, because I find the process miserable, but rewarding. So, essentially, I'm going to make these all the same way by, like, stamping. So I have a gray StazOn ink, and then I have a black VersaFine ink, and those are the ones I'm going to use to add all of our postal messages type things to the backgrounds of these index cards. It's not actually the most interesting process now that I'm watching it myself, but I guess I was very deliberate and thorough, so hooray! What else can I talk about while we watch me stamp paper? That's a good question. Oh, I made a little stamp? That's cute. I don't remember. This is a couple days ago, so this is all like a refresher to me as I'm watching it with you guys. I mean, normally when I make these videos, like I'll make them in a batch setting, and then I try to like record the voiceover either that day or the next day so that it's all very fresh in my mind. But for whatever reason, I think it's because I threw my back out. Yeah, that's what it was. I threw my back out when I recorded these. Like literally I get done recording these and then I throw my back out. So I was in bed for like a day and a half, and then another day again, over my little 4-day weekend there during the holidays. That's what happened. But yeah, so that's the reason I didn't come back and do the voiceover right away, which is why I'm so confused as to what's going on. Oh, I'm embossing. Look at that. I don't know if this is if this paid off in the long run. But also that VersaFine ink stays wet forever, even after you dry it, which makes me so mad. Because I was like feeling it with my fingers to be like, are you still wet? And it was like, no, I am not. But I'm also a liar. And yeah, I had to go back and brush it off the little stamp frame. It's not a big deal. But it was irritating because I don't like being lied to. But yeah, I don't have words or thoughts or feelings about things right now because I don't know what I did because this was like a week ago in real time for me. Yeah, it was actually exactly a week ago. So yeah, I just embossed it. So we have a little embossed stamp action here, and then I'm gonna cancel the stamp to make it look a little postmarked, I guess. I did think about going to get like red, because, you know, like red is very common when you're doing postal things, but then like I didn't want it to stand out too much against the background or anything like that, or all the other stuff and things that I'm using. I'm using a little splatter stamp, a little splatter action. Now, I will say, a lot of this stamping is going to get covered up. I'm okay with that. Because the parts that are showing are important, and there would be no way for me to predict what was going to show, because I get very random with the process as time goes on. And you guys will see that, because I'm just sort of going for like composition over anything else. So like I'm not super worried about covering up all the stamping I just did. The stuff that shows, and it does exactly what it's supposed to. If it doesn't show, oh well, it was part of the process. And so, like, especially on, like, this one here, and these letter and whatever I stamp underneath it, I think it's a number, most of that gets covered up. And, like, you might be like, well, why did you waste your time doing that? But it wasn't a waste of time. It was important because something was going to poke through underneath all of the stuff that I do. Let it be this. So, yeah, this is my completely stamped up postcard here. And now we're just going in and gluing down these little strips in a way that is satisfying to the eye. And so I'm looking for like sort of a balance of like symmetry, but also like asymmetry. So I'm trying to go like off center and like juxtapose colors and stack them up together. And I'm not really like being precious with it, more so that I'm just trying to not stack the same color on the same color on the same color. So there's that. And because these are all wood colors, they're all very similar in tone. So I'm looking for like the ones that have variance and like pop up against that. But that's the only like preciousness, I want to say, that I'm being here. Otherwise, I'm just like stick it down if it looks good. Here, wherever my eyeball goes, oh yeah, I like that. That's where we're committing to. That's the bit. So you can see a lot of the stamping gets covered up, but it's not a big deal. It's NBD at the end of the day. Also smoothing out some of these ones that I hand cut. So I will say, if you want perfectly straight lines, use your cutting tools. Because yeah, my hand does not cut anything in a straight line. And then I'm just trying to play with like the different shapes and stuff that I can get out of this sort of thing. And this is where we're getting into like the little fine art bit of this moment, where we're using these metals. Sorry that my lighting is so poor. You cannot see how bright and shiny this is until I tilt the cards, because I think that's where the layout comes through. But otherwise they just look like weird brown strips of paper I stuck down, which you can also do this with weird brown strips of paper. They don't necessarily have to be metallic. This is very achievable without using your metals. You can also use embossing powders instead of alcohol inks and foil tape. If you want to recreate this, you could get all your metallic powders and stuff out, or all your colorful ones, and do something like that if you wanted something bright and colorful. You can really play with the tones, I think, more with embossing powders and stuff, and the vibe you're going for. I mean, you could do that too with a variety of alcohol ink colors, but I chose these ones because I have them and I just bought them, so I'm playing with them. But yeah, and I ended up with these little strips left over too, so I have some for like future projects, which is okay because I kept thinking about this while I was creating other stuff, and I was like, oh, it'd be really nice to have like a nice little shiny bit of metal in here. So now I have some to play with later on if I need that, if I feel like I need that. But like, look how cool that is. I love how this one came out. It's so much work, but it's also so worth it. There's just a lot of steps in the process. This was a very long session, and I am realizing as I am going through the prompts and stuff for this month that this is taking me a lot longer than Povember. or it will by the end of it when I get to the 31st day. I am not nearly halfway through yet. That, yeah, this is taking me a lot longer because I'm spending a lot more time like making each piece individually special, as opposed to being like, this is a collective project. This is now an individual project, because I'm just trying to use these scraps and have fun and like have a bit of a play, you know. So I'm not like really whatchamacallit. There's not like a one and done, like turn and burn sort of atmosphere for this. It's so much as there's like each piece is unique and special, so it takes more time to put it together. And I'm being a little bit more choosy about like the elements and stuff that I'm using. As you can see, I have brought out this gray embroidery floss to be our little stringy bit, because I felt like I needed to break up some of the rigidity of the lines in the background and give it a little bit more like chaos, because it was very orderly. So a little bit of chaos, a little bit of moth, and then bada bing, bada boom, we got our messages, our altered index cards, and these are very fancy. I really love how they came out. You guys will see when I get a little closer. Look how nice these are. Oh my gosh, when they catch the light, I just love them so much. I am a sucker for alcohol inks on metal, because obviously I love these so much, to death. I love them. And I also just love that you got that little hint of like a postcard, like this was built on top of somebody's old messages and stuff in the past, and then I don't have to feel bad about covering up somebody's actual postcard, because I thought about that too. But yeah, that's everything from you guys. Come back and see what we do for hashtag Moths in the Scratic tomorrow. Check out the hashtag and see what everybody else is doing, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Until then, I appreciate your faces and happy crafting, and goodbye!